Good morning everyone, good evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is nikymus and you are welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, I talk about spirituality, and I talk about personal and self-development. And if any of that stuff resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us. Give us a like, share this video with your friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. So this message is going to go out to the black sheeps. I've just had a very strong download, and honestly speaking, the download has also caught me by surprise. And I'm specifically addressing this download to the black sheeps who find this video, because I definitely know if you have found this video, you're most likely a black sheep in your own family. And the download just told me, if you're a black sheep in your family, or if you have been a black sheep in your family, do not go back to that family. This download came to me very strongly, and immediately I want to tell you guys out there, if you're a black sheep, if you've awakened, you have been a black sheep in your own family. For the most of you guys who don't know, the black sheeps, they are the people who are the scapegoats in those dysfunctional family and toxic family units. So remember guys, you are dealing with a narcissist. In those families, I can guarantee you for 110%, you are dealing with a narcissistic parent or a narcissistic family member at the top. If your parents are not alive and you're in some kind of a family unit which is toxic, there's somebody at the top, maybe your parent, mother, father, maybe your siblings, if they're the ones who are taking care of you. One of them individuals up there is a narcissist or some form of toxic individual up there. And when you have awakened, I'll guarantee you guys, if you have awakened in that family, you have become a threat. Because now the awakening is bringing you to that point whereby you are now able and starting to look behind the veil. Now you can see everybody for who they are. Not only do you awaken to the person at the top that I'm talking about, the narcissist, you're also awakening to all the other team in that family unit, and you're now able to see exactly who is a narcissist, who is a toxic individual, who is an empath. You are now starting to know everybody for who they really are. And most of the cases, what is happening actually is that you're now starting to look behind the veil. And remember, you are now starting to see those things that you're not supposed to see. You're supposed to understand those things you weren't supposed to understand, and those things you weren't supposed to see. Because by what I mean behind the veil is that you're able to see everybody apparently for who they really are. So what you're supposed to understand as the black sheep who has awakened, you have become a very big threat in that entire unit. You have become a very big threat, and you are going to become a problem, because now those people at the top, the people who are running this cycle in that family, because remember that those dysfunctional families, they are running some kind of a generational cycle. Also, they're running some kind of a generational pattern within that unit. And you as a black sheep, having awakened from that unit, you're becoming a very big problem for them. You are going to become a big problem for them. Number one, you're going to become a threat. Because now they understand finally that you're the one who has been placed in that unit to break that kind of a curse. So if you have been able to awaken, for the most of the time, the black sheeps who have awakened from those entire units, they have managed to escape and get out of those units and start their own life somewhere else. Now, I've never said, and I will always keep on mentioning, that it is always going to be very difficult to start. It is difficult to start your life outside of the unit, because if you've been used to being a scapegoat in some kind of a dysfunctional unit, family unit, the very moment you take a decision to start to live by yourself, to make your own decisions, to live on your own, it is always going to be a very big challenge. But I'll guarantee you, at the end of the day, the secret is in you following your dreams and starting to make the move. You have got to make the move out of that unit. There will be all sorts of hindrances, there will be challenges, there will be obstacles. Sometimes you might even find yourself that you might have to go to some kind of a shelter. You might have to go and live in a shelter. I'll guarantee you that the shelter, and you guys, I want you guys to listen very closely to this one. If you end up living in a shelter, having awakened from a dysfunctional unit, if you end up living in a shelter, I will guarantee you that the shelter is even more safer than your own family unit. It is more safer for you to live in a shelter than for you to stay in a toxic family unit. Because when you awaken, guys, I will tell you something true. You have looked behind the veil. You have now started to see exactly who the devil is. And you were not supposed to see this. But because you are a special anointed person of God, your eyes were supposed to open, and now you were supposed to put on the spiritual glasses which would enable you to look behind the veil and to really see these demons for what they really are. And if you have seen that, the very first thing what will happen when you leave that entire unit, what they are going to do, they are going to send a lot of flying monkeys. Because remember, that entire unit operates out of a very massive dysfunction within the unit. So there's a lot of the family members, the team, there's a lot of flying monkeys in that unit. And those flying monkeys, now, the person at the top is always going to send a lot of flying monkeys. You might see a lot of them coming on your social media. All of a sudden, you're going to see some of your cousins, your aunties, they're going to start sending you friend requests on your social media pages or things like that. What they are doing, actually, they're not coming in because they really love you. They have never loved you in the first place. There is nobody in that family unit, unless that person was an empath like you. There is nobody in that family unit that really loves you and has got their best interests, your best interests at heart. So they are only coming in to spy on you and to see exactly how much do you know and how much have you discovered and how much do you know. So they are coming in to know at what level are you at on your path. Because they know when a black sheep you have awakened, everybody in that unit is going to know. Everybody in that family unit, whether they like it or they don't, they are going to know something has changed. Because remember, when you are awakening, you are shifting a whole paradigm in that unit. You are shifting a paradigm, and that paradigm is going to start to shake up the whole entire family foundation. And now everybody is going to start fighting with themselves. And you, as a person who has awakened and who has started, because remember, like you guys have seen my video before about the aftermath, I've told you that you have blown the trumpet. So when you have blown the trumpet, guys, remember, you are shaking the entire family unit from the top to the bottom, and everybody's never going to stay the same again. It is going to cause a lot of disruption, and you, as a person who has awakened from it, you have been anointed and specifically chosen by God to break a specific cycle in that unit. So by you getting out of that unit, number one, you're getting out for your own security. Because remember, when you awaken, you become even a double threat. You have always been a threat. Actually, to be precise, you have been targeted since birth. Since you were a little kid, you have always been a target by your own parents, from your own parents, and even sometimes from your own family members. They have always been targeting you subconsciously without even knowing it. They have been targeting you because on the spiritual perspective, they know you have been placed in that unit and you are meant to do something very, very big in that entire unit and to shake up the whole foundation and shift the whole paradigm and break something what they call a generational curse. So you have broken out of it. The message is for you, strongly for you. I will guarantee you, if you go back to that unit, it's going to become very, very dangerous. Because number one, you going back to that unit, you are going back to experience the same things you have experienced before. You don't think so if you're going back to that unit, that all of a sudden the things are going to change and all of a sudden you're going to have a happiness. Things are, everybody's going to smile at you. They're going to come and hug you. Yes, they may buy you a cookie or two. You know what I mean? They might even give you a hug or two. But after that, you're going to go back to that position you have been. And this time it is even going to be worse because now they already know who you really are. They know you are the chosen one. So it is extremely dangerous. I'm appealing to the guys of you, for the most of you who have found out this, if you have made this video, it is not by coincidence. This video has been destined to meet you at the right time. And the message in this video is telling you, don't do an attempt. You have to do whatever it takes for you to break free. You have got to go. Sometimes I've heard about black sheep who have had to leave their own families, and the only thing they have taken is their clothes with them. They have not taken anything with them. They have just closed their eyes and went out of the unit, leaving everything behind. Because most of the cases, like I said, when you're leaving this kind of toxic individuals and narcissists and all these kind of people like that, you always have to live quietly. You make your moves very quietly and you live quietly. And they never, and are never supposed to know exactly where you are going. You are supposed to go to undisclosed locations and start working on yourself, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of healing to be done and a lot of shadow work to be done. There's a lot of introspection to be done. You are supposed to be by yourself. The reason why God has decided you for you to awaken and to see that dysfunction for what it is because God now is preparing you for the next chapter in your life. Because remember, along your path, you have been chosen by the universe, by God, to break that specific generational curse that has been going on in that family. That's the very number one reason why you have been placed in that family in the first place. It is the very number one reason why you have been placed in that family, because that family, you did not drop in that family by coincidence. You have chosen that path because you have chosen that to reincarnate in that life in this lifetime in that particular family, because you already know on a soul level, on a spiritual level, there is work to be done in that family and there's a curse to be broken. So you going back is extremely dangerous. You're putting yourself in danger. I don't know of any black sheep who has attempted going back, but for the most of you guys, if you're out there, because I don't know who this message is going to resonate with, for the most of you guys who are out there and you have managed to escape and leave your own family units and entire family units, you are supposed to keep going. You trust the process. You have awakened for a purpose. There's a very big role ahead of you, and there's a very, very big, brighter future ahead of you. God is taking you out of that dysfunction, raising you to higher standards, and you are going to become the best version of yourself. But along that path as well, you're also going to break generational curses that you've left behind, and that toxic family unit will never stay the same. So whether you like to believe it or don't, you're going to look behind later on, couple of years down the road, could be 1 or 2 or 3 years down the road. You're going to look behind and you will notice that all the family members you have left behind, all of them, they have started to shift their own, they have started to become more aware than they used to be before. You know what I mean? So they may not have been seeing that dysfunction for some time, but when you awaken, you start to shift the pattern, and the members of that family you're leaving behind, they are all going to start to understand this dysfunction for what it is. One by one, they will wake up, because your awakening also triggers their own awakening. At some point, it may not happen immediately, but at some point, the more you work on yourself and detox and all these kind of things, you are also going to trigger them to awaken and understand this dysfunction for what it is. So you are breaking the whole cycle. You have chosen to come in this lifetime to break that particular cycle. That is the reason why you were placed in that family, entire family unit. And in the beginning of your life, when you came into this universe, into this world, your eyes were closed so that now you can start to experience. You are supposed to come into that family and experience this abuse and this toxicity and this cycle in physical form, so that you can bear witness. You can be witness. So you were supposed to, your eyes were closed on purpose by God as child. So you were supposed to go through this lifetime and experience that cycle, see it for what it is, understand it on the physical perspective, and then now when you awaken, that's when you're going to know exactly why were you placed in that family unit in the first place. It is going to come to you the reason why you were placed in that family unit and why you chose to be placed. Because remember, we usually choose our families before we reincarnate. For the chosen ones, I'll repeat this, for the chosen ones, before we reincarnate into this lifetime, we normally choose we normally choose the places that we want to be placed. We choose our families, we choose our parents. Every chosen one out there, whether you want to believe it or don't, whether you know it or you don't, you have chosen that family in the beginning. Reason being that family has been running on some kind of, and that cycle has been going on for hundreds of years before even you. So you have come in that family, and you're the one going to put that end to that cycle. And remember, like I've said in my videos, being a curse breaker is one of the biggest things you can ever imagine. It's the toughest job you can ever imagine on this universe. It's it requires a very big soul to do this. But you as a chosen one, you are the person with that kind of energy that is able to break that curse. So if you're a black sheep out there, I'm appealing to you. You have awakened, keep going. It's going to be hard. The road may be shaky a little bit, but everything you see happening around you is going to happen for you. You might end up in shelters. You might have to sleep with an auntie. You might have to call somebody in the village. You might have to go and sleep with your friends. You can go and sleep on somebody's couch if you have to. If that is where you're going to feel safe, just go and do that. And that is exactly where your journey is going to start, of becoming a better version of yourself. That being said, guys, let me know in this video what you think about this. I'll get back in touch with you in my next one. Much love and blessings. Dysfunctional signing out. Peace.